phony cynic, entertaining themselves howsoever they can. Howsoever they can. That is all. It's scarcely worth mentioning that even this gloom is far more tempting than anything one finds in the land of the short-lived. Okay, enough about your past. What is it like to be undead? Do you wish to know what it means to me personally, or what powers and limitations it imposes? Do you regret not being alive anymore? A shadow passes over Jadal's face. You surely know how to ask questions. She says nothing for a long time. Two desires led me through life. To feel pleasure time and time again, and to achieve perfection. Life brought me closer to the second. I am changeless, torn from time. The chaos of the world and even the soul circle have no power over me. But everything comes with a price. Most things that brought me pleasure in life are meaningless to me now. How can I decide which is better? I mean, you've become powerful. That's all that matters. It's much better than the life of ordinary mortals, and even else. I would prefer to have both, but meanwhile I shall have to content myself with power. How do healing spells, prayers, and potions affect you? Dreadfully, of course. Your healers had better stay away from me in battle. The undeads are healed through interactions with negative energy, and I can perfectly manage that on my own. You don't need to sleep, right? I'm spared from that bothersome need, but I hope you do not take this as a reason to invent additional responsibilities to entertain me during the night. I spend this time meditating and addressing the goddess. What about, carnal pleasure? A tactless and facile question. That pleasure is now as senseless to me as food or wine. Action without feeling. Well, thank you then. I have no more questions about this. Tell me about your goddess. It might sound strange, but I know less than others about Urgathoa and her faith. My transformation into her Inquisitor was unexpected, but I will answer to best of my knowledge. What do you know of Urgathoa herself? Oh, certainly. Urgathoa was once a mortal woman, basking in life and all the pleasures it had to offer. Her passion was so strong that Urgathoa rebelled against Pharasma, against death itself and its laws. After her own death, she escaped the power of the Lady of Graves and returned to the world as a goddess and the first undead. Since then, she has protected all who submit their souls to pleasure and passion, paying no heed to worn-out mortals and dictates of law. What does it mean to be an Inquisitor of Urgathoa? This question is more complicated than it seems. An Inquisitor is by nature the most zealous defender of their faith, the end of their goddess in mundane affairs. When I received this title and power, I expected that Urgathoa would tell me my mission, but this never happened. The goddess remains silent. There's only one reasonable explanation I can imagine. Discovering what's expected of me is part of my mission. So I reflect on this, make my prayer, and wait for a sign. Does Urgathoa feud with the other gods? Not Urgathoa, but Pharasma still tries to call her to order, and Serenray to heal her. Jadal laughs at the absurdity. What does Urgathoa requires of her follower? To enjoy, to taste exquisite dishes, to feel the lover's caress, and drain the enemy's suffering. A wonderful religion obligation, isn't it? Why is the cult of Urgathoa forbidden in much of Golarion? Because Golarion is plagued by narrow-minded cowards. Some tremble at the freedom granted by Urgathoa, others fear the wrath of Pharasma and her priests. Okay, enough about this now. What made you follow me? Curiosity. The need for a reliable ally. You see, I must come to understand what my goddess seeks from me. Urgathoa gave me the powers of Inquisitors without declaring her will to me. I await her reply, any hint of a trace or clue. And I suppose our meeting was no mere accident. Beside, Jadal cringes. I imagine that several Kyonin assassins still pursue me. They never risked attacking me while I was under the patronage of the Aldori. They are unlikely to attack while I have reliable allies like you. Why did these assassins follow you? I don't know. They can't have been sent by the Queen. I am branded outlaw, but my punishment was exile, and it is not custom for halves to contravene their own verdicts. My attackers shouted something about threat and blood. I suppose they are a splinter group of feeble-minded zealots, or someone on a quest for personal revenge. Okay, well, thank you for the conversation. Yeah, that's Valerie. Greetings, Valerie sighs. Everything is well, I hope. I'm ready for new orders. Tell me about yourself. What exactly would you like to know? I was born to a noble family, though I didn't remain long on my family estate. My father sent me to the Order of the Eternal Rose, but I left once I realized that it didn't match my principles. Where are you from? What was your childhood like? I was born in Brevoy, but in fact I've never seen much of the country. I spent my childhood on a remote estate owned by my noble family. My father is a respectable philanthropist and benefactor of the Church of Shalin. He's also a renowned private collector and a great admirer of the arts. My mother saw to my education personally. From my early years, I learned good manners, how to behave at a dinner table, and the proper form of words for every occasion. I also learned the difference between true nobles and lowborn upstarts, and I learned how to treat each of them properly. Our home was always under the protection of several paladins of Shalin. My father has donated a handsome sum to their order. One of them, a man of venerable age with a gray beard, once let me touch his shining armor. If you know what I mean. I still remember the admiration I felt when I touched the cold, polished steel. Valerie smiles. Of all the memories of my childhood, that one is somehow the warmest one. Why were you sent to the Paladin Order of the Eternal Rose? As you can imagine, from my first day, I was surrounded by crowds of servants and nannies who'd never stopped praising my heavenly beauty. The Paladins of Shalin, who used to visit our house, echoed these praises. In the end, general consensus overwhelmed my father's better judgment. When I turned 6, I was brought to Church of Shalin and told that this would be my new home. Don't pity me though, I beg of you. Many who hears the story immediately assume that my parents were cruel and had no love for their child. Valerie's eye becomes stern. My parents had respect for me. They taught me something that has supported me all of my life, a sense of self-esteem. Besides, they didn't abandon me. Once every 6 months, they would come and visit me at the Order of the Eternal Rose. We had some tea and then had an hour to walk around the garden. Then they would take their leave as etiquette demanded. What did they teach you at the Order? A variety of things. Some of them appealed to me, others I simply couldn't accept. I enjoyed the physical activities and swordsmanship, but the art, calligraphy, painting, poetry, and so many other ways to waste one's times. Valerie sighs. I guess that deep in my heart, I always knew I'd never be a true paladin of Shalin. Wielding a sword always felt more natural to me than handling a paintbrush. Why'd you leave the Order? Because of my heavenly beauty. Valerie winces in contempt. According to Shalin's law, all art is sacred, whatever form it takes. Severe punishment awaits those who dare harm a painting, sculpture, or poem, no matter how worthless the drivel might be. My looks always attracted unwanted attention from the pilgrims and acolytes at the temple. I received my first poem dedicated to me when I was 9. The author was some wealthy geezer. Valerie's lips thin in contempt. And that was only the beginning. Sculptures, pictures, poems, I was drowning in them. My admirers mobbed me, and I had to respectfully accept all their garbage. The cleric of the temple were magnanimous, for my suitors made generous offerings to the church. But one time I just snapped. Barely suppressed anger glitters across Valerie's eyes. Some wealthy idiot has dedicated an extremely untalented poem to me, and he had the nerve to read it right to my face, holding my sleeve. The hour was late, and I was on my way to get some rest after a boring lesson on rhymes. I lost control and tore the poem apart, right in front of him. Valerie raises her head proudly. The paladins wanted to impose some punishment upon me. I don't remember which one exactly. They wanted me to repent. Instead, I just gathered my things and left. What did you do after you left the Order? I set off for Restov. Valerie shrugs. I wanted to get as far away as possible from Shalin and the destiny everyone seemed so ready to force upon me. Besides, the School of Swordsmanship in Restov has quite a decent reputation. Honestly, I was hoping for an opportunity to learn from the famous Aldori masters. Eventually, it became clear that their technique wasn't a good fit for me. They teach to avoid impact, whereas I prefer to raise my shield. But my abilities and skills, which I'd learned at the Order of the Eternal Rose, were enough to make the Sword Lords take an interest in me. They offered me a chance to join the mercenaries who served the Sword Lords, and I accepted. I bet your beauty inspired many people in the Order. Valerie's gaze suddenly becomes cold, and here I'd hoped to avoid the question. She exhales loudly. Well, let's get this over with, once and for all. You should understand that I'm perfectly aware that most races, orders, and genders find me physically attractive. It's beyond my power to change that, but I've never given a potential admirer any reason to start a conversation with me. But it doesn't stop them. After leaving the order, I took a dagger and cut off the long hair they used to praise. Well, now I get letters praising the beauty of my eyes. It was because of my appearance that I ended up in the Order of the Eternal Rose, though I never wanted to be a paladin. It was because of my beauty that an infinite number of suitors have pursued me, all of them confusing simple politeness with hints of affection. Valerie clenches her fist. But do you know what I really want? I want people to stop treating me like a piece of art. I want them to notice that I'm a person, and I'm capable of something more than smiling for paintings, where I sit wearing a lacy satin dress, holding a basket of peaches in my lap. Is that too much to ask? The last question comes out as a shout, though Valerie doesn't seem to realize it. I'm going to go with 3 because I'm evil. Whoa, why all the shouting? It was just a simple question. What's become of all your precious self-control? Valerie breathes heavily for a moment, gasping awkwardly as the meaning of your words finally become clear to her. She regains control over herself. I humbly beg your pardon, she says calmly. That will never happen again. Well, okay then. Tell me about the way of Shalyn and about her paladins. Shalyn is a goddess of love, beauty, and art. Her paladins are something like armored artists. That's how they like to think of themselves, at least. Valerie tries to contain her feeling, but her inner contempt bursts forth. They are fanatical defenders of worthless, inartistic paintings and meaningless opuses, if you care to know my opinion. You speak of Shalyn as with such contempt. What did the goddess of beauty do to her in your anger? She's been trying to ruin my life, Valerie snorts. Shalyn, the goddess of everything useless that ever existed in this life. All the beauty in the world, all the art, all the soulful sighs in the moonlight. They'll never feed a single family. And I beg you to restrain yourself from offering your own opinion. Trust me, I've heard everything you can tell me, more than once. Nothing, and nobody can change my mind. Valerie looks at you with suspicion. As for Shalyn, she's the goddess of idlers. I almost joined her preposterous entourage. I'm just glad I was smart enough to denounce her while I still could. What do paladins of Shalyn usually do? They wander around seeking the next pile of garbage, and when they find it, they call it an immortal piece of art and admire it until they're blue in the face. You might not believe this, but the paladins of Shalyn aren't allowed to slay their enemies if they beg for mercy. Can you guess why? Because a bandit, rapist, or murderer who has been put to the sword will never be able to create something beautiful in the future. So a paladin overpowers her enemy in battle, then inspire him to create a masterpiece. Valerie's face reflects extreme disgust. It might sound hilarious if it weren't true. Plus, all of Shalyn's followers are obligated to practice some sort of art in his or her free time. Every single day, no matter what else is going on, and if you're feeling sick or hungry or sleepy. Otherwise, according to their clerics, you lose your connection with your goddess. A preposterous notion, wouldn't you agree? I understand that not every piece of art is good or even decent, but surely there must be at least a few great works amongst them. Is that what you think? Valerie curves an eyebrow, mocking amazement. Many shares that delusion. I was deluded too for a while. Now I consider all work of art useless. People create this garbage because they have nothing better to do. The peasant doesn't paint a picture, he plows the earth to feed his family. The soldier has no time for sculptures, he must defend his own land. But idlers and slackers have plenty of time to waste, so they smear canvases with paint and imagine they've done something worthy and valuable. Valerie shakes her head in disapproval. You said that every paladin must practice some kind of art. What kind of art did you pursue? That. I used to embroider, and I still do from time to time. A treacherous blush covers Valerie's cheeks. It's nothing, I assure you. Just a simple task to keep my hands busy and keep the gloomy thoughts at bay. Nothing special. Okay, if you say so. So you're an atheist. You don't worship any deity. Right, I need no guidance from above. I have my own good conscience and my leader's orders to live by. Okay. You know you don't have to follow etiquette and maintain good manners while speaking with me if you don't want to. I'm aware of that, Valerie sighs, but I'm sure you understand that I am what I am. That's how I was brought up, first by my parents and then by my mentors in the order. Besides, I was born to a noble family. Valerie raises her chin proudly, so I rather enjoy the idea that my manner of speech differs a bit from the common language of the peasantry. You just can't imagine how many social climbers have bowed politely the moment I opened my mouth. You're so eager to follow my orders. Why? What do you mean, why? Valerie looks at you with bewilderment. I follow your orders. I've joined your campaign because I have faith in you. I believe your intentions to be noble, though things may not always turn out as you've planned. You're my commander. Your orders are law. It's my duty to follow them. Valerie hesitates for a moment. Well, so long as you don't order me to do something that's absolutely dishonorable, but that would never happen, I hope. I wouldn't put money on that, bro. But I mean, good talk. That was fun.
I'll go ahead.
And I think Miri is here somewhere. Yeah. We'll talk to her. We're gonna talk. Miri utters a weary sigh. Alright, spill it. I'm listening. We're just talking. You don't like it? Miri shrugs several times, perhaps flexing her muscle, or maybe just filling this in the silence. Dunno. She admits at last. Depends what we're gonna talk about. If it's about monsters or swords or scars, I approve. That's good. And if you're gonna ask questions like why and what for and how, screw this. Miri looks you over slowly, head to toe, or you got even harder ones. Well, tell me about yourself. The simple question seems to puzzle Miri. She scratches her head, then starts counting on her fingers. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. I left my tribe, the Six Bears. Miri looks thoughtful at her 4 bent fingers and shrugs. And I like fights, she concludes, bending her thumbs. What's it like to be a barbarian in the Six Bears tribe? Ha! Our people are big and strong. We can cut monsters in half with one swing. We can walk 3 days and nights with no rest. We can eat a whole fried arak. Well, I guess you had to do a lot of training to become as strong as you are. Training? No one freaking trained me. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do was watch. Miri's eyes gleam with anger. And you know what? They were still crap, even after all that training, because I kicked their butts hard. Animal, bandits, monsters, all thought they were stronger than me. Idiots. Miri spits on the ground. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win. You think you're stronger than your enemy. Miri raises her chin proudly. I defeat them all. See all the scars on my face? Yeah, I see them. Sure. What does the realm of the Mammoth Lords look like? Huge and freezing. No place for weaklings. Miri narrows her eyes as if evaluating your ability to survive her homeland. Tribes hunt Aurochs herds to survive. Aurochs are fast, so tribe follows herd for days, just not to die of hunger. If you're weak, you stay behind and die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. Also, there are giants and mammoths. Sometimes demons come too. Ha! And the mastodons. And the saber-toothed tigers. Miri grins. You would survive, I think. For a few days. Ha! Why'd you leave your tribe? Miri flushes. Because they were assholes, all of them. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and women were scared like sheep. Miri rolls her bloodshot eyes in fury. Men there think no girl can be a fighter because they're weak. They're afraid a woman can beat them. And females just nod. Go sow hides, cook meat, watch kids. That's what they always say, but I'm a warrior, damn it. I won't cook hides and watch meat. Yeah. Yeah, never cook hides and watch meat. That's kind of weird. Miri's already shouting, her fist clenched tightly. I told them so. I went hunting with men, and what did I get? Still the same. You're a woman. You stay home. Even give me a nickname, the Soft Chieftain. Like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giant, and there... Miri suddenly stops, breathing heavily, sweat beading on her forehead. After a moment, Miri waves her hand awkwardly and forces herself to grin. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were. That's why. You're quite a good fighter. Miri jerks her head up. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I was a crappy male, I'd fight better. Is that what you say? She glares at you, her eyes narrow. Or you say I could be better. Like, go get some training, Miri, alright? I meant exactly what I said. You're quite a good fighter. Don't raise your voice to me ever again. Miri continues to breathe heavily for several seconds, glaring at you, but finally she calms down. I won't, she mutters. Forget it. You're rather rude, you know? You bet. Miri grins and suddenly frowns. I'm a fighter, big and strong. Everyone's afraid of me. I can't play the softy. Who would ever fear me then? The contemplative expression disappears from Emery's face, replaced by a dreamy grin. I enjoy being feared. When I pass by and all the sissies almost faint, knees trembling, teeth chattering, shit dripping down their pants, Emery falls silent, fascinated with the picture her imagination has created. Well, good talk. That was fun. So why did you leave your tribe, and what's the story about the Frost Giant? I told you already. They were assholes. They treat women like sheep, not fighters. Amiri frowns. As for Frost Giants, I'll tell you later. Someday. Maybe. That's a formidable sword, but it's not just a simple weapon, is it? You bet it's not simple. Check out how big it is. She proudly raises the blade, and you notice that even though Amiri is extremely strong, she still has difficulty wielding such a large sword. The sword belonged to a real blasted Frost Giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfectly. My damn trophy. Amiri's eyes flash with menace as if she's challenging some invisible enemies to try taking it away her trophy. Okay, well, talking. Well, we will do some monster killing instead. Amiri sighs and turns away. I agree. When is that going to happen? Well, basically right now is when that's going to happen. Great. Actually, let's make a hard save. Good. So apparently, resting doesn't heal you completely anymore. Like they changed the way it works. Why is there like a marker here? I don't know what this means. Okay, we're gonna go towards the Thorn Fjord. A ford. Oh. Wow, that's okay. A jittery old man in squalid clothing shuffles up to you. His gray hair is unkempt, and he continually clenches and unclenches his wrinkled, freckled hands. When he stops and looks at you, his eyes widen and he tugs at his beard. Strange weather. Invisible fog creeping out of the woods. Soars beyond the sky. Obscures the sun and moon. Strange. The old man shakes his head, his eyes shifting about, seemingly at random. I don't like this old man. Looked like the kind who can cast the evil eye. Move along, old man. We give no alms. Who are you? The old man freezes for a moment. Remus. But that won't help with the fog. What are you doing here? The old man raises a thick eyebrow curiously. I do nothing. Breathe, walk, observe. The fog looks visible enough to me. I see more than ever. I've never seen so much before. The old man wipes his hand across his face and sighs wearily. But someone must look and no one else can. Invisible fog. Does that mean you can't find your way through it? Fog is wrong. It hinders your leg, not your sight. I wish not to try. Okay, well, I don't have time to listen to an old fool's nonsense. Be gone! Bold dog barks loud. While cunning, one readies to bite. Cunning, short, but stubborn. He is now in an ancient tomb that lies south of the trading post, searching for the great power that once gave joy and now brings only death. You don't want my nonsense? Then you'll hear sobs and screams. Once stolen, the land should be reclaimed. Once reclaimed, bound with the claimer shall it be. Bound, merged, joined by unbreakable ties. Claiming the land, claiming its pains, claiming its death. Well, okay then. It's where Tartuccio is. Well, what the other group is. So I could go there and recruit Harem. I doubt Lindsay would join us. Plus a healer would be great right now. Okay, the ancient tomb is here. I think there's something here though. Like I'm pretty certain. Wow, turns out you can go to the Oak That Strayed. Huh. Okay, I'm getting pretty freaking far though. Let's come back around.
I'm hungry. When we stop?
Soon. We'll stop soon to rest. Okay, let's rest here. Let's see what we got here. I'm not going to use rations. Who's got what here? So I got the best number of stealth. So I'm in charge of camouflage, which makes sense. So you get the best hunting, which makes sense. What is your special role? +1 circumstance AC bonus in the first battle within 12 hours. The effect extends to 1 additional battle for Valerie every... that's kind of shit. Yeah, we need a hunter. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do for now. Sure. We only know one recipe anyway, so that's going to be that one. Which, if we get it, we get a +1 bonus on all saving throws, but it's very unlikely that we get it. Like, very, very unlikely. We need to roll an 18. Saving again. Okay, how big is this map? Okay, save again. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, what's O? All right, let's just make sure of something here. Is this once per battle or once per day? Like, I don't know.
Give the order. No mistakes.
Oh, look at that. I have the cat summoned. That's pretty cool. Okay, save. I want the extra perception. That way we can, like, See more stuff. Oh, a duck. Okay, there's nothing here.